Hey guys, we're going to have Britain Hart on the show today, the bare knuckle babe. She's going to talk about her win from bkfc 14 and her challenging Paige Vanzant. Coming up next. Like, what was it like for you? What were you feeling?
I was feeling, I think every fighter goes through a roller coaster of emotions. One moment you're like, man, I got this. I'm going to mess him up. I got nothing to worry about. The confidence kicks in. And then, then it's like, well, man, I got everybody watching. Like, are they going to like my improvements? Like, am I going to get caught by something like a lucky shot, something wild? Maybe, that's the beauty in combat sports. You never know what to expect. The unexpected is always there. So I think you kind of get worried in the unexpected. But my daughter actually really helped me. She gave me the final words on my trip goodbye. I was actually kind of nervous, and I said something to her, and she was just like, rolled her eyes, and she was like, Mom, just hit her in the stomach, move around, confuse her, and then hit her in the stomach again. And I just laughed and was like, you know what? All right, Paris, you're right. Which is kind of ironic because it's kind of how the knockout came in the
You gave
fourth
her some
round.
body shots. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
man, my little 7-year-old knew more than me. So it was pretty cool to kind of have that inspiration going. She, was kind of like, why are you worried? I had a lot of other people reach out to me too, and gave me amazing pep talks like, come on, Britain, you got this. You put the work in. Nobody
Yeah.
works harder than you. So just having that support and hearing it from others, it really gave me the confidence in myself too. And I think that everyone noticed that. Me going into the fight, they're like, wow, Britain is way more confident and relaxed than she usually is, which may come with experience. That is true. But I think really it wasn't really from the experience. I think it was from the types of talks and conversations I had from different people that really got my mind right. So fighting, you have to be ready physically, you have to be ready mentally, and you have to be ready spiritually. And I think I had all three of those things. So that's how I felt going into the fight.
You put up a post about this. You talked about how, the first two fights, the fight against Beck, which was a close fight against a very just crafty veteran, right? Christine, another crafty veteran who is no stranger to combat sports. It didn't go your way those first fights, but like I said, these are two very, very, very game opponents. A lot of people thought that you won the fight against Beck, right? There's a lot of people on that side. When you look at someone's record, I think it's a lot deeper. You have to look at the stories behind the fights, look at the fights, themselves. I think when you got the W, and I don't want to talk for you on it, but it really, like you said, you seemed really confident. You seemed like maybe slightly different than the first two outings that we saw you. You definitely seemed just, I don't know, maybe like more in tune to the fight. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you when I say that? Like, is that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm not making excuses for any of the other fights, but I just think I've really just grown to be in a better place in, in my life. And it's very important in fighting. The first fight, I was training at a YMCA. I had a bunch of issues going on. And then my second fight, I had even more issues going on, like in my personal life and stress. And I just, I didn't have really the best support system behind me. It was really pieced together. It wasn't really solid, like a good foundation. Now, I had a pretty rough incident at the beginning of the year, and I've really been working through that. And I feel like I finally got away from anything that was toxic, anything that was holding me back, anything that was negative. I finally kind of got rid of that. So I think that again had a play in it, like with my confidence. And like I said, the type of people that were in my ear before, the type of people that were in my ear were very negative and toxic and really wanted to change me on who I was. They didn't want me to talk to anybody leading up to the fight. They wanted me to get off social media. They didn't like me posting things. It was just all this stress on what I was doing, and had nothing to do with really fighting. But it kind of led into it. So this time, I have people that really love me and support me and let me be me, which ultimately, helps in my confidence and being, me as a person. I think that you could hear it in the fight. I think, Chris said it best. He was like, Britain has developed her own style and it's working for her. I'm not trying to be somebody else. I'm not trying to have somebody in my ear on who I should be and what I need to be in order to win. So I think that really has helped grow as a fighter in this game.
And speaking of confidence, when you won. You know, they got you on the microphone, and you know what I'm going to ask? I'm going to ask about Paige. So, like, you know, and I was sitting ringside, and I saw you kind of walk over. You blew a kiss to her, right? And then,
Right.
you know, you're fucking next. Talk like what was going through your head. Did you know you were going to do this? Was it just off the cuff? Like, I'm gonna call her out.
Yeah.
She's already here.
Right. Well, I know a lot of people are giving. It's amazing how many people just want to, throw cast shade and say some things about it. But at the end of the day, you're not me and you're not in my shoes, so it kind of really hurts to see some of the comments. But like, look at it this way: I just went 4 rounds and bare knuckle. Like I had to watch myself disform another girl's face, basically right in front of me, and then after I win. There's all these emotions. Like, I'm like, yes, I did this. I'm thinking so many things, who I need to thank, what I'm going to say. And as soon as I go up there, they're like, I didn't even get a chance to say that. They're like, Paige is right there. What do you want to say to her? And I'm not really the type that I'm really not disrespectful. I'm not, I've never have been. And all my weigh-ins, actually, the last weigh-in I was actually surprised that I was as aggressive as I was. Because normally I am the one that's just smiling and just like, hey, we're about to do this. I'm about to surprise the shit out of you. And I find it, I've had people actually crack on me and be negative towards me for being too nice in weigh-ins, for being too smiley. So shit, that's just me though. I'm always a happy, positive person in the gym, outside. I can be aggressive. I have a mean streak. Everybody does, but normally that's not me. So anyways, I don't really know what they expected me to say to Paige. I wasn't going to go up and be like, I just won my fight. I'm not really focused on her. I was focused on this fight that had just happened and beating this girl who just commented the night before that she was going to crush my little girl dreams of making a name off of her. I was worried about that girl and beating her up. So when they brought Paige in, I'm like, I don't have any really like, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to bust your face in. Like, I don't know what were they expecting me to say? So I kept it exactly how I did it. Short, sweet, and simple. And I said, you're fucking next. Which is normally how I talk anyways. So nothing was planned. That's what I said. When she came up in the ring, I was even more surprised. And, all the cameras are on you. Everybody, it was a sold out crowd. It was awesome props to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship for having a completely, booked and stacked event. It was full of energy and people in there. They're all watching you. Cameras are up in your face. And I'm like, I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, I have a lot of like kids and people that look up to me. Like, I try to be a good role model. Like, I have to be careful what I say in some aspects because the world is watching. So there's only so many things I can say to be disrespectful or unsportsmanship like, because at the end of the day, I'm, very passionate about sports and showing those good qualities that sports possess. So, I kind of kept it like loose and kind of silly and like free flowing. I want the fight. I think I deserve the fight. And I know I'm going to win the fight. Like, I'm confident in that. I'm going to win. So I don't need to get up in her face and be like, grr. I already am confident in myself that I have the skills it takes to take down Paige. So now all I need to do is just go with the flow, which is kind of what I was doing. It wasn't staged. It wasn't planned, but I think it just reflects my, my out of fighting personality, which, at that time I had already won. There was no need for me to be all built up about it.
You know what? And I thought it was appropriate. I kind of recall back to something Luis Palomino said right after he fought Isaac Valley Flag. And it's just one of the things that's kind of stuck on my brain, and it's so true. He said, "Closed mouths don't get fed." Right? I'm not saying that every instance of shit talking is appropriate or warranted, but it's the game. It's a game now. Like, it's just the way it is now. You have to kind of shit talk just enough, just a little bit, just to kind of progress. Everybody wants that story now, right? Like, everybody wants the build up and the aggression, and instead of it just being about I'm the best, you're the best, let's fight.
Right. And I think I did just enough of that. I told her, I walked up to her, I made eye contact. I didn't look away. I wasn't scared or nervous or shaking. I looked right up to her. And she wants to say, it looks like an easy win for her. Well, then I guess there's no problem in her taking it. So I mean, that's awesome. So I'm down with the fact that she thinks it's an easy win. And in my head, all I have to do is smile because now I know I got her. The fact that she wants to underestimate me right off the get, I'm good with that because I'm going to come in there and she's going to be really, really surprised.
Well, well, let me ask you this. I mean, have you heard anything else about it? Is that so? Is this what you think they're leaning towards? Because I know that they want her to fight on the February 5th card, the big Super Bowl card.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, I think truthfully, it would be a mistake if they don't because of what had taken place on November 13th. I think that it would be a huge mistake if that fight doesn't happen. But at the end of the day, I'm not in control of it and I can only worry about the things I can control. So I think sometimes it stresses me out when I think about things I can't control. I
yeah.
do think that the fight should happen, but I know that there's talk. I've seen some other fighters kind of step up and say some things that might stir the pot on a fight that maybe she wants to, maybe Paige isn't ready for like a huge fight for her first pro debut. Maybe she does need somebody, to introduce her to the sport. And maybe it isn't me. And, I respect that decision if it's made. I don't agree with it, but I respect it. And it kind of just shows that I'm not as easy as a win as she might think, so if they don't make me her first fight, that it's almost flattering to me that, oh, well, I guess I'm not as easy as you thought. So I just have to take it for that. But I definitely want it. I feel like Paige is a little hyped up and I'm worried that if somebody else goes in there and beats her first, that she's going to say bye and disappear from the sport. I would like to
Mm-mm.
have more faith that, hey, that she'll stay no matter what, win or lose. But, who knows? I don't know. She didn't make it in the UFC. So it's kind of why I think she went to bare knuckle to see if she can make it there. So I hope that, win or lose, she stays, but it's kind of hard to say looking at that track record.
It's interesting to talk about it. And of course, I know a lot of people have already seen like, the quote from Sheena about her and kind of, stirring the pot and stuff like that. I guess it's kind of a situation of, and I try to look at this from a specific point of view, right? Is, like her, like you, like, Christine, like some of these girls that's been in bare knuckle since the beginning, right? Have been there since the get go. I guess I have to imagine, you guys have been there, and then you see like Paige come in, and she's this, she's been in the UFC, she's a superstar, she has a gazillion followers on Instagram, and she's getting all this spotlight. Like, do you think that I don't know. I guess just your opinion, because like I said, I don't want to speak for anybody, but you think there's a little bit of like, hey, like we were fucking here first.
I
You're not
mean,
just gonna
yeah.
come in here and
Yeah, I definitely think there's an aspect to that, that like, hey, you're an Instagram model, maybe I tell people too, if I had, maybe if someone wants to sponsor me for breast implants and I had bigger boobs, maybe I would get that same attention too. I kind of think of it that way, that she just kind of comes in here and the spotlight goes immediately to her for really what reason. But you got to look at who she's fought, even in the UFC, and then coming in here. So I think that, yeah, I definitely think that it's kind of one of those things like, hey, what is it that we're missing that, that makes us not on the spotlight or on the top? So, I
hmm,
mean, I look at it too, a lot of the fighters are a lot bigger than me, Paige seems to be more, my size and competitive in that way. So I think the fight makes sense that way, between me and her. But, I think that it's just kind of showing that, that you can hang with it and keep coming back. Like, not that, look at Beck. She was in here and then as soon as she got a better deal, she was gone. So it kind of like lets you say like, the people that are really loyal are the people that come and and stay and have fought numerous fights. You can't really give that much credit to someone who just popped in, who's to say that she's not going to disappear in a few months.
right, right. And I guess too, I'll bring to the attention. So a lot of people on your team are fighting on the this next card.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know. I'm so excited for that. Big shout out to Tyler, Kane, Josh, Bobo. I'm excited. I'm actually going to be there. So cat's out of the bag. I'm going to be there to support, you know, my brothers with Smith Brothers Combat Sports. So I'm definitely going to be at that show. I'm super excited. You know, I was actually just talking to Kevin. You know, I used to train with Kane and his son and Jim and Roanoke. So, you know,
Yep.
it's going to be awesome. I've really grown really fond of Tyler as a fighter and growing with that. So, and I'm very excited to see Josh Burns and Bobo too. Just bare knuckle it out.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got a lot of BKFC newcomers, not newcomers to bare knuckle, but there's a lot of, you know, with Josh and Tyler and Godbeer. I'm really excited for this card. It's going to be a really solid fucking card. So, Britt, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. And like I said, we definitely appreciate you, and I appreciate your time. And guys, go check out. Was it Britain Hart _?
Yeah, there
Right?
you go.
Did I get that right? Okay.
Yeah, you did good. We did at the same time.
I'm starting to remember all that. Yeah, the underscore, Britain Hart _. Go check her out. Go give her a follow. Britain Hart, everybody. The bare knuckle babe. Like I said, I guess that's the one that's sticking, right?
Yeah,
So,
I guess so. You know, I gotta take my reign, take my name where I can.
that's it. That's it. Well, good luck to you. Hey, hopefully you get the fight against Paige in Super Bowl weekend. So that'll be an amazing card. That'll be awesome if you get that. So,
well, let's hope for it, Josh. I really appreciate you.
100%. And like I said, take care, and we will catch you again.
Catch you later.
All right.